StarCast is proudly sponsored by Doghouse Systems. Go to doghousesystems.com for the best computer gaming rigs on the frickin' planet. Use the code StarCast or Biscuit while you're there, and you'll get yourself a $25 Jinx card and support StarCast in the process. Once again, that's doghousesystems.com. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy episode 81 of StarCast.
Yeah. It's about damn time for StarCast.
Incoming transmission.
Biscuit.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 81st episode of StarCast, the StarCraft podcast. I am your host, Garrett Weinzerl, and with me, as always, is Kyle Ferguson, and the dancing monkey in the monkey suit is Mork. Mork, welcome back to the show. You haven't been on in a while. How's life been treating you?
No, yeah, it's been quite a while since I've been on the show. I've been practicing with the CBO guys, getting stuff done, and I heard you guys had video now, so I just had to dress for the occasion. So I decided to go grab my tux. I realized, Garrett, that you wanted to dress up for the 100th episode, so I didn't go all the way out. I mean, I do have my gym shorts on right now, so we're good. I'm only going halfway. This is the top half.
This is half force.
Yes.
Half force.
So.
Well, that's fantastic. That's really, of course, the only half that matters. I would stand up, but I'm actually nude below the waist. So,
absolutely, as every news anchor is.
Yes, that is how it is.
You have to earn that desk to hide your shit.
Well, that's awesome. How goes CVO? I heard we lost a few members to another team this week.
Yeah, it's actually been quite a week of transition. We had 3 players decide to move on to another team. The main reason is because of the practice. We have had very few members that have actually been active. We have a good 12 or 13 something members on the team, but most of them have not been around for us to practice with. So it's mainly been 4 or 5 guys just playing with each other, and none of them are Protoss for the most part. And so they got an opportunity to go to a team that has a much wider spectrum of players, and some of which are grandmasters. And I hear there's some potential sponsorship deals in there as well. But it was a hard choice for them, but they're still Starcasters, so they'll still be around to give advice to people and still do training and coaching. But yeah, it's definitely a loss, and we're kind of in a transition period right now.
Yeah, well, congratulations to those players who have moved on to bigger and better things. But I'm very excited for the future of the team. Just the crazy crap we managed to pull off in the last year excites me for what 2012 could hold for competitive Virtus Suprema.
And this is serious business, of course. Don't be swayed by my smile video crowd, but man, this suit is slaying me.
Well, we've got the vest and everything, so...
Yeah, this is actually the uniform for CPO. Most teams have a jersey. We actually send all of our players to tournaments in tuxedos.
No tails, though. No tails. That'd be too extravagant.
Yeah, that's pretentious. Plus,
No,
when you would
course,
sit
yeah.
down, you'd have to do the flip out the tails thing like you're about to play at a concert. Warm up the fingers in your white gloves.
I think only Kyle and I get to wear the tails. So.
Yeah, and top hats.
That's true.
As team managers.
Of course, Total Biscuit would have to come down and give you what for, so...
Well,
anyways, let's get into episode 81. It is time for this week's status report.
Can we get a status report?
And welcome to Status Report. StarCraft 2 is reinventing the science of expertise. As an article on Scientific American writes, it's very interesting and goes over a lot of things that go way over my head, but they basically talk about how the actual article is entitled "How a Computer Game is Reinventing the Science of Expertise," but the computer game they're talking about is none other than StarCraft 2. And to sum it up without going too deep into it, because I know we have a lot of other stuff to talk about on the show, more or less says it's kind of a new and improved chess for the multitasking generation. So some really interesting things they bring up here. The thing that just made me laugh, first of all, there's an awesome picture of of Husky totally freaking out during MLG. And then there's Lo Sierra under the title. It's broken into sections, and under the section that's, or not Lo Sierra, there's a new model organism, and then there's a picture of Lo Sierra. So,
yep,
yeah.
and they're calling him, the 19-year-old multitasking phenomenon. This, of course, is talking about how chess, you have to be aware of everything, but it has a limit to it because you have to take turns, whereas StarCraft continues to happen at all times.
Yes. The real-time
strategy. Interesting.
Yeah. Who'da thunk it that the name actually had something to do with how it was played? So.
Well, and then, I played this game called Halo, and it's like a shooter, but it's from a first-person point of view, So It's like you're the actual Master Chief. It's kind of cool.
Halo. I haven't
what
heard
type
of
of game it is.
This game, Halo. I don't know what you speak of. Is it an indie game?
Yeah, it's real underground. Not many people have heard of it.
Right.
I can think of nothing more problematic and boring than turn-based shooters.
Oh my gosh.
I disagree, sir, because I want the Patriot, the first-person shooter, where you line up with your dudes. And you just, bam.
No, that should be on Wii, so you have the whole motion stick going on. Oh, God, you got to reload.
Waggle the shoot. Waggle. It looks like you're masturbating, but waggle anyway.
And if you shoot before you see the whites of the eyes, your accuracy goes down and stuff. It's crazy.
Oh, you lose points if the guy doesn't say his last hold.
Then Franklin comes out and just says, I am very disappointed in you.
Then you're that weird old man in The Lord of the Rings with the bow.
Oh, yeah, at Helm's Deep, he shoots the Earth too soon. And, that's fantastic. Well, you can tell that we don't have much else for status report. Let's jump right to strategies.
Nuclear launch detected.
Strategies.
Well, thank you, Garrett, doing your best impression of a Marine saying strategies. We're going to talk about the Pyrimid.
Yes, an interesting article that got a lot of buzz this week as it flew across Twitter and, of course, the TeamLiquid forums.
I believe I also saw it on Reddit very briefly, but things last about a day on StarCraft Reddit.
Too true. Well, it is a very interesting article, which many people have been saying for a long time. What does it mean to be in my league? What should I be working on if I'm in my league? And in fact, Mork is brought on the show not only because we love him, but for a reason, because this is continuing a conversation him and I had about what it means to be in different leagues.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the things that's always been hard when coming on the show, with all these strategy emails that you guys get, and we're trying to answer questions about unit composition and stuff, and you have that guy who's in bronze, and he talks about, oh man, well, just all these Marines just keep coming in and killing me. What should I do? Make more stuff, man. Like, you just need to make more stuff. Lots of basic things that have to come before more advanced things, and this article does a really good job about putting that out there.
Yeah, so we're going to break it down for you. The first thing they talk about at the bronze level is economy, and they wrote, at its base, StarCraft is a game of economy, as are most RTS games. If you don't understand this, it is your first step into becoming a better StarCraft player. The very first fundamental concept behind the best players is economy. This implies constant worker production and taking bases in relationship with your worker count, approximately one base per 25 workers. The sheer amount of money intake will be the foundation of the rest of your progression in StarCraft 2. This leaves us to the second ladder step in the pyramid, which is production. But before we move on, either of you have anything to talk about when it comes to economy?
I mean, this is what bronze players should be working on. And he goes more into this in depth, so I don't want to just be repeating what he's eventually going to say. But the GSL pro players and the casters continue to point out things that are awesome. And controlling units is fun to do. I don't want to just build Banshees and then just, tell them to go off somewhere and do nothing with them. No, it's fun to control those Banshees. But if you really want to learn what you got to do, you got to start with economy down at bronze.
Yeah, and this is still a lesson that I'm learning myself in Masters, to be honest. Like, it's so fundamental to everything that once more things get added onto it, it's really important to make sure that that's still the foundation. Just making sure that you have the exact number of workers that you need on every base, that you're not majorly oversaturated or majorly undersaturated. And, some of them had builds because everything's gotten so focused and tight in Masters where if you make a mistake, missing 4 Zerglings, all of a sudden you lose. Larva consumption has become really important. So one of the issues I've been working with is just making sure to not over-drone and just have the exact number of drones that I need for that moment so I can have my army as big as it needs to be.
Well, and this isn't even talking about spending yet. This is just about getting economy up and running. And he even says something that I don't really even think about when I think of economy, which is taking bases after you've lost them, because it's all too easy to be like, oh man, he denied my third. Oh, well, I'll fire it off for another 10 minutes before I try that again.
Yeah, definitely. It's really, really important.
Production's the next thing they talk about. They say production, and guess what? Production. The second brick in the StarCraft pyramid is making as much stuff as you can, much like Mork said, build more stuff. The sheer number of units popping out on the map will be enough to win against any player who has not mastered this step. At this step, the type of unit does not matter as long as you fully utilize your economy with lots and lots of production. It can include army, defense, and upgrades. Just spend your money. These first two concepts might seem obvious, but they are often the most neglected because they are overshadowed by the upper levels of the pyramid. Which I really agree with that closing statement. We hear so much about micro and timing and build orders when we're watching
it's fun
live
and
games.
It's entertaining.
And at the upper echelon of players, it's the thing that the spotlight is really on because that's what it's what sets them apart from your run-of-the-mill Masters players.
And Buddha, who writes this article, or Buddha, there's only one D in it. At any rate, he says, just mastering your economy and going to the next level of production, that takes you straight to silver. Spend your money. Yeah.
Knowledge is the next step. They said knowledge as in game knowledge, as in knowing what units are, their names, the upgrades they can have, their strengths and weaknesses. You do not need to explicitly use this knowledge in this step. It will come naturally. Simply knowing will enable you to move up the pyramid and allows you to make decisions. It should have read knowledge. Knowing is half the battle.
Knowledge is power. G.I. Joe. Exactly. No, this is... I started a journal for this very purpose. It was more of an Excel spreadsheet, but I didn't know what to do against Forge Fast Expands or a great number of other things. And while you can read and all these sort of things, what worked for me was writing down what failed and then eventually replacing it with games I had won. So now I know exactly what to do in these situations.
Yeah, and I actually have a Post-it note right here of some stuff that I just learned in some recent ZVZs. And just reminders for myself to go forward in the next games.
Out of curiosity, what's on the Post-it note?
It's a build order, actually. I copied it from this guy who owned the crap out of me. So I'm about a 550 point master, somewhere around there, which is in the top 7,000 or 8,000 players for Masters
nice.
Worldwide. And then Psych is around 1,000 something. One of our former CBO members.
That's because Psych is not a human being.
Yes, he's actually dead.
He is the nicest dead guy I've ever met, though. I love playing with Psych. He's a great coach and really fun in 2v2s.
Yeah. Well, anyways, the reason I bring that up is I got matched with a ZVZ guy on the ladder. Well, a Zerg. And I was Zerg as well, so ZVZ. And he was about 1,100 points. Which, that's in the top 800 in the world. I was like, why am I playing against this person? But anyways, I was going a Baneling build, and all of a sudden he just killed me with Speedlings. And he just had more Speedlings that I could even produce Banelings against, and just had really good control. And so he had this Speedling timing that just overwhelmed even my Banelings. And so I wrote it down and gained that information and going further on. So.
Well, sweet, man.
And as has been just said in the poor Disco Rex in the chat room was like, oh, I know plenty of knowledge, forever gold. Well, this knowledge is part of the step to be gold, as Buddha puts it here.
Yeah. Information is the next step. It's filed under platinum. I believe there's 4 steps to platinum in this, or no, 3. 3 steps to platinum in this pyramid, which will be the next 3 things. And it is, once again, information. It says information is what is displayed to you in-game. This starts out with what race your opponent is playing, then where he spawned on the map, what he decides to show you, and finally, scouting. With proper scouting, you will gather all the information necessary to capitalize on your newfound knowledge of the game and enable you to actually start making on-the-fly decisions about your game specifically. The information gathered will, of course, enable you to make the correct in-game decisions and follow the right strategy to plow through the opponents that have not achieved this rank yet. And I definitely know this is an area where I am lacking. That or the people I'm playing are building things that don't make sense, so I'm looking at it like, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, that could be the scary thing about being in certain leagues and having this knowledge of the information, because you're like, oh man, whoa, 2 factories. Man, he must be going something crazy. But no, he's just farting around, kind of floating over here.
Oh wait, he's just bad. Yeah. How many times has that happened to us, all 3 of us in our 3v3s? Like, oh god, what are they doing? And then we're just like, we all have 3 bases, we're 200, we're 3-3. Can we just walk in now? Okay, let's go.
We're just completely overestimating them. Like, whoa, wait, what's that? Oh my goodness, he's going this. Oh no, we still haven't placed yet.
Not to call out our guest, but it's usually Mork's fault. Usually, Mork, and it's a good thing. You're one of the most over-analytical people I know. You're in a 3v3, and you're trying to play it like a 1v1 Masters match.
I have so much trouble playing any sort of team games anymore. It's just... it just bugs me because that's how my head works, and sometimes it's just simple as press A to make a bunch of Marines and then send them across the map, and if you sent it at the right time you win. Done. There really is no build orders anymore. It's just kind of punching each other in the face with your friends.
Yeah, Octane Pro and I won a game yesterday with unsupported tanks. Nothing to just tanks.
Have fun.
It was fantastic.
I'm sure it was.
It was like, if you looked at their front lawn expecting flamingos, but in place of the flamingos, you just saw tanks. That's what the door to their base looked like. It was awesome. Wow. So, if you're going to win, crush their souls. That's what I have to say.
Absolutely, and the lamentations of their women.
Army's the next step. As weird as it sounds, the army is usually the most underemphasized aspect of StarCraft. This level of the pyramid includes not only the army composition, but also its positioning on the map. This is where you will, for the first time, make in-game, in-the-moment decisions about what type of units to produce and where to place them. Put the emphasis on the second part. The positioning of your army is just as important as its composition. You need to defend your bases and engage in the right spots with an advantageous position. The spot where your army awaits its order to advance is also crucial here. Imagine your army being in the back of your base when the opponent pushes. Once this is mastered, you will plow through any opponent that has not reached this level. Next, we bring structure to your game. So
this level here is in the mid-platinums. He's putting it here at the above 25s of plat.
Yeah. Army positioning is something I personally feel is brought up quite early in people's knowledge, because one of the first things anyone learns how to do is when to fight in chokes, when not to fight in chokes, and things like that. But I don't think they go very much past that step when they first realize.
And one of the important things about this pyramid, though, is that it has to be building on itself. So you can be so freaking awesome at your army control, but it doesn't matter a thing if nothing's going on at home.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point, Kyle. I mean, that's why we're listing these in order. I mean, knowledge is half the battle, but it's also the third step, and a couple things come before it. With this army control thing, there have been so many games where I'm just massively, massively greedy against some gold player who wants to play me in the StarCast chat, and I just have Lings ready for a counterattack. whenever. And so they finally push out, I snipe a base, and get back home in time. It's important to know where your army should be at in certain moments, so that way they can be as effective as they possibly can.
Well, and what you're saying as well is that this is an army that you have positioned in an effective place. This has nothing yet to do about control. It is more important that you have that all you have is those lings ready to just run into the mineral line. And then once they get there, they can do whatever the heck it is. You should be doing something else at this level of play.
And on a Protoss level, if you ever watch Huck playing against a Terran, or just any Protoss for that matter, their Stalkers are almost never with their army. They're either in the back of their base split up to defend against drops, or they're ready in a counterattack position, and then the rest of the army is in the front to defend your most vulnerable expansion. So yeah, it's really important to know just to where to put your units before you A-move them.
Well, and if you watch the GSL final, this was a showcase of where to put an army.
Yeah, especially on, well, I guess on both ends, but Leenock, especially in game 1, he should have died about 8 times, and because of his superior army movement across Tal'Darim Altar, yeah, real good.
So now we get into where I'm having trouble personally.
Yes, this is the final tier of Platinum. It's build. After the most underrated aspects of the game comes the one with the most hype, the build, or build order, the order in which you place down buildings and units to reach a certain goal. Now you have finally reached a point where you understand the game enough to actually optimize what you do and how you do it. This one should be higher in the pyramid if it wasn't for one of the most awesomest, yes, it's a word, things about StarCraft, the pros. Professional players have made builds their career goals. They spend hours, days, weeks, and months perfecting them. Steal them. Use them. Take advantage of this, and after you master your builds, you will rampage through the ladder. This level emphasizes smoothness and optimization early on, and it will launch you into the mid-game with a huge advantage. Mork, what is your opinion of stealing a build before really learning much about how the game works?
Rephrase that, please.
If you
should someone go look up, say, a build from Leenock? You know, he's the hot jams right now. If they don't understand economy, if they don't understand positioning.
Oh yeah, no, definitely all the other stuff comes before this. It doesn't matter if you have a build in your pocket if you suck at the build, and just the mechanics that come with that. I mean, production is the most important one out of that. Economy, yeah, but production is the biggest aspect of any build, because a build is what outlines your production. And if you don't know how to consistently produce to the best of your ability, and make those supply depots, make those, queue up those units, everything, what's the point of having a build? It's not going to get you to what that build achieves unless you're using the build to the best of its ability.
Now, for me, my personal excuse against builds, and it's something I just need to sit down and do. It's something I've started doing because I feel like I've started to reach this level where this has started to become very important to me. I feel like as a creative, wacky Zerg person who wants to be all over the place and reactionary, that builds seem very boring to me. And I don't want someone to say, I don't want someone to go do point A, do point B, go do your dailies so you can buy a quest. No, I'm not playing World of Warcraft anymore. I'm playing a strategy game where it's about my head, my brain versus them. But this has become intensely important now.
Yeah, I guess, Kyle, to answer that question, to be honest, there's got to be more than just one.
What?
For builds that I have for myself, and this is why Idra is so amazing, and we'll talk about that in a sec, most of my builds end at a certain point, and then after that it becomes general ideas as a Zerg player, because it's all about larva management. Most of my builds are for the first 8 minutes of the game-ish, give or take. And after that, my build morphs to what my opponent is doing. I have an end goal in mind. Like, I might have a goal of getting to 5 base, and then getting Hive Tech, and that's my build. And I want this many mutas, and this is how many drones, and this is how many Zerglings and Banelings. But when it comes to like a specified build, it does start to vary throughout the match. So if you're looking at build orders, I guess look at the advantages that you get in the early game to be able to set you up for the mid game. So when I said I literally only have one build that goes past like the 15-minute mark, where it's literally I know exactly how to spend every larva, and that's just a build I've been working on for about a month and a half now, and it's against a Forge First, which has very little variance from my opponent's side. But
I'm sure that's something that takes a lot of constant practice to keep up with as well. Just all those little steps along the way can be so easily forgotten.
Yeah. But I guess for me, like build orders really, for the in the way that he's talking about it here, probably only go up to about 40 supply-ish, give or take. It's not hugely overwhelmingly boring. And the reason Idra is as good as he is because most of his builds literally go to like the 20-minute mark.
Well, and he's got something really interesting on his streams that he has an overlay where you can't even see the time that these builds are happening at, so you can't steal them right off. Yeah, if you look, I was looking at some people chatting in his chat room, and they were like, whoa, Idra doesn't play with the clock on? This is weird. And they're like, no, he has an overlay that's stopping you from stealing his build.
That's awesome. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either. It's one of the few streams I watch regularly.
I'm not really to a level where I can steal Idra's builds to that far out. But I'm just
what are you
going
to take
general
notes? Like, who's fast enough? They don't even teach shorthand anymore.
Okay.
That's a good point. Well, go him. Control is the next thing up. That's going to start the diamond tier. A relatively small step inside the massive pyramid to mastering StarCraft is control. This includes and emphasizes map control. Obviously, only one player can have map control, but what this level dictates is having map control when you want it, and especially making the most of this positional advantage. Extending on map control is your army control, i.e. moving your army forward and back, left and right when appropriate. This section will also include spell casting during engagements, like storms, fungal, and stim packs, and where to place your spellcasters inside an army. Controlling the bulk of your army and the map is an essential part of your RTS gaming career. The obvious one.
Yes, and one of the more fun ones, which is why it's so high up here and why he's kind of got to make a point about it, because I think we all want to control. I mean, that's what the campaign is about. That's what having hero units is about. It's a shame that if you really want to do this by his book, which he says you don't even have to. He says this is a general statement. Many of these things have been divided for simplicity and thought's sake. I mean, if you just economy and spending, those two pretty much go together, production and economy. But he's divided them up here to help make sense. So control this high up. You can win an entire game without really doing any control.
I like the fact that... and this is probably true. I mean, Discarax is in the chat right now. Every single time we put a new step up, he's like, wait, I can get to plat without using casters? Yeah, like the idea that you could literally just have a build where you just make a bunch of Marines, literally only Marines, and then move them across the map. No stim, no anything. And if your production's good, if your economy's good, if your build's good, you will beat someone who's focusing on control.
Kyle.
Dude, it's perfect example is that game Garrett and I played where he just moved into my whole base, and I was dancing around with Ultralisk and Infestors, and it was like a freaking light show. I was playing immaculately in my opinion, but the constant wave of production completely defeated me.
Yeah, would you guys agree, because this is kind of my thought, that probably the number one thing that lower-level players kind of overemphasize and the rest of their game suffers as a result is microing their units. They're just sitting there diddling around with their units. They're not macroing, and that's why they lose.
Well, but we're going to say right here, it's the funnest part, because storms, fungals, snipes. Like, these things are sweet, and you want to use them. No one, like, what are you going to do? Like, hey, come on over. We'll play StarCraft together. No, you don't get to use that unit. No, put that down. Put that
this even includes stim, too.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really, really getting into the fact of anything beyond A moving counts, really. I mean, that's what he's saying. And, you know, what I was going to say is, like, if you have really, really, really good everything before this step, hypothetically, you should have a big enough army that you don't even need to stim to get to diamond, is what this guy is saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next one's high diamond.
Yep. Force. Finally, we get to Force. This is not the Force, by the way. It does not bind us, penetrate us, and surround us. This is...
In your
right. I've got the Old Republic in my head because it goes live next week, and I'm very excited. This is one of the less defined and explored steps of the pyramid. It includes, but does not limit itself to, harassment, pressure drops, etc. Force does not only mean knowing when to force yourself through the main defense of your opponent, but also knowing when to move to force units instead of harvesters. Cough versus Zerg. It includes making drops happen to force your opponent to lose map control, to force him not to push your base, to force him to rebuild harvesters. This step makes your opponent do what he does not want to do. Now that you have mastered the lower and mid levels, you are already well beyond the average skill level. Now comes the refinement, where you will finally get promoted. So, real quick, anything to say about Force, or we should move into management?
Force sucks.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
I mean, I can see it definitely. It's a very big problem for the other races because, once again, we got 2 Zerg players and a turret on this show. But the production continues to happen. If production stops because you're distracted, Terran and Protoss will fall extremely behind. If for some reason you're just kind of auto-producing, then you're not getting the units you need. So I'm sure Force happens. Like, you can definitely trick your opponent into going mass Thors or something, but it's so much more effective versus Zerg.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to correct you on that, but kind of expound, because this is the number one on this list that makes me win against anybody that I'm sparring against in the StarCast chat channel. This is the thing that any lower league guy, no matter how good everything else is, this is why I still beat them, is the fact that they don't have this as a part of their play. They don't know how to put pressure when they have an advantage. They don't know how to force me into certain avenues, and I can just take a third, take a fourth, boom. To answer your point on how does this work against the other 2 races, because for us, seeing all that larva and having to spend it on units instead of drones, that's a very obvious force in our eyes.
Yeah.
Forces against Terran and forces against Protoss, you'll see this very much so against a Protoss player, like in a TVP, is they will attack and force you to continue to warp in instead of spending that money on upgrades, spending that money on tech, and keep them on gateway tech longer than they want to. So the only thing that they can afford is to barely get out that Twilight Council, barely get out those, whatever it is, force them into making those warp-ins. They don't have, then they won't have the money to put in more gateways. They won't have, so that's how that works. Same with Terran. They don't have time to put those add-ons on. They have to produce out of them. So there are different ways to force the other.
Forcing stim.
Yeah, yeah. I guess you could.
That's a big one. Okay,
I guess you could force scans as well.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, all of those are different aspects of changing their build, making them do things they don't want to do.
Yeah, anything involving cloaked units could be you could consider that a force. You're forcing them to build an engineering bay, to use a scan instead of drop a mule.
Sorry, the chat just said force them to wear pants.
Groll TNB, you win the Making the Show Derail Award for this episode. There's always one. Last week, Mork, you probably missed it. Kyle said something, and then I said the exact same thing because there was so much going on in the chat that I was reading it and didn't listen to a damn thing Kyle said.
I've done that to you before.
Oh, you do that all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
But, yeah. Anyways, management is the next tier. We're getting into the masters now. This is the first higher step of the pyramid. This is when you will get harassed. You will lose bases. You will be overwhelmed by the amount of stuff going on. Management is keeping your cool. Of course, you should be keeping your cool and stay on top of all the other steps before this. So let me rephrase that. It is performing actions you would not perform without pressure. It is rebuilding your base after you lose it. It is having and keeping the correct hotkeys during the action. Don't forget to use them. It is keeping vision of what is happening to fine-tune your reactions, staying on top of the lower levels of the pyramid during heated moments. This goes beyond the information gathered and focuses on smoothing things out after your build has evaporated. This is obvious but hard to accomplish and often neglected or forgotten. This one will take practice and experience. This is essentially StarCraft muscle memory.
This is the step that I'm progressing through right now, to be honest. This is what I'm working on.
Keeping cool?
Yeah, holy crap. When you get up to master's level and you're on 3 or 4 base and they do a push at your front while dropping in your natural and in your third, like, that sucks. And I realize, it happens against, every other league, but when you're in a master's situation, their macro is sick. And if you don't manage that well, they're all of a sudden going to hit you even harder the next time if you didn't manage. So going back to the whole, control, where you have your army placement. So making sure your army is placed properly for the sake of defending both of those and being able to defend the push in the front. But then going all the way back to economy, step 1, and I have to, after those 2 drops finish, after I defend the front, and they back off and they're going back to macro, all of a sudden now I have to see if I lost any tech buildings, make sure that I'm still injecting, double check my drone saturation. That's actually the most important one. Is, okay, this hatch, it did have 22 workers on it. It was good to go, but I lost 4. I need to make 4 more workers for that hatch for it to be fully saturated. This one lost 6. This gas geyser only has 2 now. I need to put 1 back on there to make sure that my economy is optimal. I lost a queen. I have to remake a queen there. And I know I'm not going to have as much larva, so I'll probably have to put down a tech building to make up for that. That is management, and it sucks.
Well, and my MLA teacher would be very proud of me from college. But citing sources, you have the GSL finals where they continued to keep their. I mean, all I wanted to do while watching that match, I'm like, just spawn a whole bunch of Zerglings and take care of those 4 Hellions, like right now. Just go out there, get it done. But he continued to keep very cool. And then I can cite the NASL finals from this past week, where Hero continued to keep, and even against the casters' ideas, he continued to keep a group of stalkers in his mineral line. And it paid off huge for him, even though the caster's like, man, that needs to be with his army. He's losing a lot of supply. But he managed to stop every single drop that came that way.
Yeah. So, moving forward, micromanagement. Finally, we have arrived at micro. Why is it up so high? Because it is the single most overrated aspect of StarCraft 2. If you have not mastered the previous steps, don't waste your time microing units. Not
Preach
to
it.
say... What's that?
I said preach it. I'm just
Not to say it won't help, but you can spend your efforts somewhere else. This one has a lot of hype because it is what the pros do. They show off their micro, and commentators and spectators love it. You probably all know that what micro is: splitting Marines, perfect kiting, magic boxing Thors, blinking away at the perfect moment. The real specific stuff. Again, not to say your micro won't help you. Or won't help you before, but it will never reach its full potential if you do not absolutely master the lower levels of the pyramid. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. If you are in bronze, just build more crap, move them across the map, and forget about them. They are on their way to death or on their way to glory. One of the two, keep building crap.
or both, man.
Death and glory.
Death and glory, yeah. We're going to erect statues.
Or take down that Manx one on Metalopolis. I always kill that thing right before I engage. I don't know why. It just bothers me.
Down with the man. man.
Yeah. Timings, again, one of the more refined and overrated aspects of the game. I take it back, not overrated, but mostly misunderstood. Tastosis love this aspect in the GSL commentary, with good reason. But you must understand that timing pushes are incredibly small windows of opportunity that are planned before the game. Emphasis on planned before the game. They exploit a known weakness in your opponent's normal build at a very precise time. Do not confuse them with a strong mid-game push or a build order win. Because of their nature, timing pushes usually occur in the early game and sometimes in very advanced play in the mid-game. Idra... Lost my place. This part of the pyramid also includes very precise timings within your build order. Example, building your queen and roachworn precisely when your pool finishes and you have exactly 300 minerals at that moment. Another note about timings are the ones that will manifest themselves inside the game itself. For example, killing off many harvesters will leave you an open window where you can push because your opponent needs to rebuild his workers. Fine-tune and master this top level of the pyramid and you are well on your way to becoming a professional StarCraft 2 player.
Yeah, this is humbling because I think we've all been in the team game on Skype. We're like, man, dude, I'm totally doing a sick timing. And no, you're not. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally have like one timing and it's an all-in and it's not even a timing. It's just there. I wouldn't say this is a part of my play yet, if I were really honest with myself.
Well, I mean,
he's
putting these up in Grandmasters.
Yeah, I don't really touch this for the most part.
Rightfully so. Again, we're getting into the things that are probably overdone by lower league players because they're so spotlit by the pro scene.
Yeah.
The final tier, the upper echelon, the pinnacle, the tip, the peak of the pyramid is dusting. This final step is called dusting because I did not know what else to call it. Imagine building a table. All the levels of the pyramid are apart. Economy is the legs, timings are the polish. No matter what you do from here, the table will get dusty. At this point, the game will evolve. Both the metagame, notice how I just now mentioned this, and the patches, once again, notice how I just now I mention patch notes and balance. And it will be your job to stay with it and refine your play. Think up new, small, tiny changes to get your edge. A good example, I saw MMA versus NEST. I think that was the game yesterday from GSL August. MMA placed a supply depot to wall in his marine next to the Zelnaga watchtower. No one will be able to think for you at this point. It's all up to you. The dusting phase is limitless, and now is when you know you are a true StarCraft master. And that just sounds epic. I wish I had some music behind me and
yeah,
it's like give me the Inception soundtrack, you know.
Otherwise, that roll's good. That ball you've been rolling up that hill, it's gonna roll right back down the other side.
What?
Gotta keep working on it.
That analogy didn't work.
That Greek guy, he was cursed and whatnot.
Moving on. I mean, I don't think any of us are at the dusting stage since none of us are players.
No.
I don't think I'll ever get to the dusting stage, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, these last couple we're just looking from afar, but it's very cool to take note.
Oh, God, I got it!
Oh, it's Inception.
Was that the Inception music?
Yes. Awesome. It's a little choppy, but that's
Sweet,
cool.
Yeah. Well, that's on our end. The stream actually is hearing it all the way through, but because we're hearing it through Skype, if we talk, drops it out.
Stop it! You're ruining the magic.
We're ruining the magic. Okay, whatever.
What can we do? Just I don't even know. Is there some Matrix mode?
We can turn it on.
And my! I'm an Inception.
And that actually, Patrick won the award for derailing the show.
Yes, he did.
You have a hat on that says Mork. I hate you so much today, Mork. So before I jump through the internet and kill Mork with my hatred, let's move on to some emails you guys wrote in. I had some questions or comments about strategies. Listener William wrote in. He said, "Hey guys, I've been playing all sorts of games, 1v1s through 4v4s, and have been playing random. I have noticed I'm doing slightly better as Terran than any other race, according to his win-loss ratio. I'm wondering if you guys think I should stick as random or whether I should choose Terran. Thanks, guys. Love the show. Keep up the good work." Mark, you haven't been on in a while, so guess what? You get the answer to this question first.
Okay. Well, he's doing slightly better in Terran than any other race. So, Terran? I mean, really, like, we didn't you guys answer this a couple weeks ago?
We've had
on how to choose.
We've had this question a few times. So,
what do you enjoy playing the most? What is your favorite race to play? What do you like to do in StarCraft? Is there a time in that random moment where you're just waiting for it to load and you're like, come on Protoss, come on Zerg, come on Terran, pick that one.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'd say pick whatever you don't want to have to deal with, because I don't want to split Marines. I don't want a chrono boost. That's why I'm Zerg. I hate magic boxing, but I'll do it. I can tolerate it. What I can't tolerate is going back to my Protoss base and being like, whoa, 75 energy. I guess I'm screwed.
Yeah. But I would say stick with random until you just feel led to a choice.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Agreed.
Particularly in 4v4s, you're enjoying endgame stuff, so pretty much everything is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Adam writes in. He says, "Love the show. I listen on my way to work as an IT consultant in Beijing." Holy crap! I don't think we've heard it from anyone from China yet. That's sweet. He says, cycling in this city is like microing speedlings around Thor's and siege tanks to get to the precious mineral patch. That sounds very dangerous. So are cars just shooting cannons at you or have teeth? Like, what's going on in Beijing?
Fire and, that's
government
awful.
drops.
Adam says, "I don't play as often as I like, but when I do play, I play random. I've never heard anyone discuss the early game strategies around playing random, assuming your opponent has chosen their race in advance. Playing random allows you to know what the matchup is before they do, allowing you to make build order decisions before your opponent. So my questions are, do you think that this early game information makes any significant impact on play? Are there any professional players who choose random? Do the major tournaments even allow random as a race selection? Thanks, and keep up the good work."
They allow it. I mean, I've seen people with it in the past. I think you're going to find you're just more refined if you put all your energy into a single race.
That's really what it is. I mean, we go back through these 15 million steps in this pyramid. Now you have to do that 3 times for 9 matchups. Must be better to focus on 3. That's pretty much what it comes down to on the pro level. Yeah, there are random players out there. It's just they're not as good because they don't have as good of refinement. They just can't unless they spend 3 times as much time on the game.
Yeah. Austin writes in. He says, "Hello, StarCast. I am a high bronze Terran, and I have a reasonably high win rate against other Terrans or Zergs, but I can't." He says, "But I can't never seem to beat Protoss. Thank you, Jethro. The only way I get wins is if they forge fast expand badly. They just always seem to have so much more units than me and can rebuild a lot faster. What do you think I can do to improve this? It's not like they're cheesing. They just seem to beat me in every way. Thanks." All right.
Well, I can answer this one. So economy, at its base, StarCraft is a game of economy, as are most RTS games. If you don't understand this, it is the first step into becoming a better StarCraft player. It's the first fundamental concept behind the best players, and that's economy.
And the first step of the pyramid we just spent a lot of time on?
Yeah, the sheer amount of money intake. Yeah. I'm just reading that first paragraph, man. Like, that seriously is what you need to start with. And you're just going to make more stuff with than that Protoss, and all of a sudden you'll be in silver. Don't worry about... I mean, seriously, don't even worry about what race they are. Just make stuff. Worry about making stuff. Make stuff. Period.
Yeah. Out-make them.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing we could possibly tell them is to make ghosts.
I actually would agree with that.
Yeah, don't micro, no micro. If it's Protoss and you're losing to early engagements, build nothing but Marauders. And then laugh.
As you destroy every building in a blink of an eye.
Kill all the things. So, yeah. Well, thank you for writing in, everyone. If you have strategy questions or strategies you'd like to share with the show, you can email them to starcastshow@gmail.com. It is time for Eye on Esports.
From StarCast, this is Eye on Esports.
Welcome to Eye on Esports. This is Eye on Esports for StarCast, the StarCraft podcast. That's right. We did it first before IGN stole it and made it their own video segment.
Wait, what? They have Eye on Esports?
IGN does have an Eye on Esports now.
Aw.
We're lawyering up, everyone.
Did they at least use my sound file?
No, I wish they would have. and
they also have an email segment. Yeah, and they used yours. So.
And get this, Kyle. Instead of Garrett and Kyle, they have an attractive female.
Those bastards. No one can relate to an attractive female.
Oh, especially nerds.
Yeah.
They don't know what they are. Naniwa is joining Quantic Gaming. I like to think of it more as he's kind of a jerk and his other team kicked him out into Quantic Gaming.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I saw this. I mean, if you actually look at the statement...
yes,
where is it?
I'm pulling it. It's right here.
Are you going to read the whole thing? Or?
Well, no, I'll just read the statement. I'm not going to read the entire post on TeamLiquid.
Yeah.
But, Complexity Gaming wrote, "We approached Quantic Gaming and were pleased to find out that they were interested in purchasing the contract rights to Naniwa," said Jason Lake, founder and CEO of Complexity Gaming. "He is an amazing talent, but we have come to discover that he does not share the core values of Complexity and it's best for both parties to part ways. We wish him the very best in his gaming career. We will be seeking another top contender to fill his spot in the near future." This could be summed up by, he's kind of an ass, and we're sick of his crap.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
We don't care if you almost win MLG but lose to a little kid from Korea. So
it's kind of funny because when you look at these two teams, Quantic actually just had they had a partnership with IM. They were just about to start this partnership with IM, which Nesty, MVP, etc.
Yeah.
But Naniwa was a total jerk to the whole IM team pretty much at the last MLG, and just called Nesty an idiot, had to make a public apology. And right before this whole thing happened, Quantic IM stepped out of that partnership. There is no partnership with IM anymore. And then like a week later, not even a week later, I think that was early this week, Naniwa decided to join up with Quantic. So I'm wondering if there's a correlation. But
a slight one, maybe.
Yeah.
I could see it being maybe the final straw where Complexity may have been kind of teetering on the edge of, God, we're really kind of done with his attitude. And then, well, we're gonna partner up with IM, and there's some...
Oh, no. Quantic, the team that he's going to, is partnering with IM.
Oh, okay.
Was partnering, and now they're partnering with Startail, I want to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the fact that he's going to a team that just very recently, all of a sudden, cut ties with IM after he was a jerk to them. So I'm wondering if there's a correlation to the team found out that Naniwa was coming over and didn't want to have anything to do with it. But
well, this is all the drama side of it. Either way, in the good light of it, he is very good friends with Sase. He has been in Korea all by himself, representing a team all by himself. And now he's actually going to have some company, some people to practice it in real life. So it'll work out for him as a player.
Yeah, definitely.
He will no longer be the Golem of StarCraft, just in this little hole, just my precious.
Have you watched his stream before, or no?
I want to say I did a while ago, but
I
like
have
a
not.
while ago.
The one time I watched his stream, it was him playing StarCraft with like 4 guys right behind him just watching.
Huh.
It was
So
like his gang. It was very
he had a
weird.
posse. Naniwa
Yeah.
has a posse.
Yeah.
Awesome. You know what else is awesome? Destiny is going to South Korea.
That is awesome.
He's just leaving his baby behind. Destiny's Child has been
Oh.
he did not put a ring on it. So
Yeah.
Oh.
This also coming to us from Quantic Gaming. Basically, Quantic Gaming confirmed this past Friday that Steven Destiny Bonnell will be heading to South Korea for 3 weeks to train with Team Startail. You'll also be able to catch some of the action on Destiny's stream. That's owned.tv/Destiny, owned spelled with a 3 in place of an E. And Quantic Gaming, I guess, will be documenting some of the trip on their YouTube channel. So go to youtube.com/Quantic Media to check that out. So
I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be some cool content coming out of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Let alone the culture shock, but just adjusting to the Korean ladder and everything else. I mean, he takes a lot of... Destiny is a fan favorite, but takes a lot of crap for being how he is, creative all over the place. And it'll be really interesting to see how his play changes.
Exactly. Now, Mork, are you as excited to see Destiny grow as a player as now he's part of a team, he's knuckling down, and now he's going to train in Korea? I'm very excited to see kind of where he goes.
I mean, I've been watching his stream for quite a while now. I mean, at least 6 to 8 months, if not more than that.
I mean, Destiny was actually the first stream I ever checked out because you sent me the links.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow,
I've been watching him for a while, and he's really gotten significantly better over time. He takes bases quicker. He doesn't just mass infestors. But yeah, he's been playing on the Korean ladder, and he's been doing all right. And it'll be cool to see if he jumps up in skill at all even more from this opportunity, especially because he's going to be living in the Startail house while doing this.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
And not to mention, this man I saw at MLG Orlando, and he is a fan champion. I mean, he lost his game, walked off that little stage, and just... he must have been dogged by 50 people. The crowd was enormous around him.
Yep. Yeah, he's very popular.
And he does it all.
If he becomes like a world champion, we get to be all hipster and be like, man, I like Destiny when he was just cussing people out on streams.
Yeah. I remember
dude,
Fungal
everybody
Fields,
already
man.
likes Destiny, though. Oh my gosh, Fungal Fields. There's been some good trolling on that stream. Oh my goodness. There's so many good highlight videos. Have you seen the Box of Pain video?
I don't think I
can't
have.
say I have.
No.
Oh, he's been off racing as Protoss, and so he always gets a buttload of sentries because he's good at micro. And right when he's about to do a push, he's like, "Are you ready to enter the Box of Pain?" And then he'll box their army into like the littlest little circle, and just it's so wasteful of force fields, but. Oh man! But there's this video of him doing the Box of Pain, and it's a very unexpected ending, and it's hilarious. So I'll link you sometime.
Yep. And Mork already kind of brought this up, but we do have a link to the TL post. Quantic Gaming parts ways with Incredible Miracle. And they wrote, the Quantic Incredible Miracle partnership established on October 21st of this year made Quantic the official representative organization for Incredible Miracle internationally. Through the partnership, Incredible Miracle players attended 2 foreign events, BlizzCon 2011 and MLG Providence 2011. So very short-lived, but BlizzCon and MLG aren't exactly, tiny little no-name tournaments. So they did accomplish some pretty big things in the very short time they were together.
Interesting that they broke it off. Well, I mean, Quantic Gaming has just been spurring the news this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I was listening to, Destiny was streaming actually the announcement for this, and like all the players were answering questions and stuff. One of the things that made IM back out was just it was not they didn't the people that they sent to MLG, like Nesty, MVP, they did not have the positive experience that they were expecting from that tournament.
Oh, them personally with the crowds?
Personally. Well, most of the time they were not the fan favorite. Ironically, it was everybody was rooting for the underdogs against them, and they just did not enjoy it nearly as much as they thought they would, and maybe the international trips aren't as in their future as they thought they would be.
Well, and MLG is a trial, and you have to merit.
Oh yeah, that's a big aspect too.
And compared to GSL, if that's all you've played your whole life in that system, like GSL seems like a pretty relaxing journey compared to 3 days of straight up gaming.
Yeah, definitely. It's a different animal for sure.
Yep. TeamLiquid has some awesome NASL picks. So before we get into talking about the finals, just wanted to make sure you guys go check that out. Got a lot of nice pictures up. Lots of pictures of Thorazane. Did either of you catch Thorazane? It showed up on the StarCraft Reddit this week. Thorazane went to Disneyland, and there's all these pictures of him at Disney. I mean, tons and tons of pictures at Disneyland, and none of them is he smiling. He has a Van Damme face on every single one. He's like on Space Mountain going down the hill, stone face. He's standing by Buzz Lightyear, stone face.
Serious business.
It's so funny.
No, I haven't seen those. I might look those up right now.
Yeah.
And there they are on the stream.
Oh God, don't you? I love our stream.
I have seen so many pictures. Well, actually, just 2. But why does the leader of EG continue to ride Greatthorpe on his shoulders?
Often.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just asserting his male dominance, I guess.
I mean, it's okay with like a child, but man, I mean, I will get into it, but you are aware there is a man's package at the back of your head.
Yeah. And that's where we're going to end it. MLG delivers the largest season in esports history. Did you guys see this? This makes me very happy.
I was still thinking.
No, I haven't. Yeah, I actually have not seen this. Tell me about it, Garrett.
They finally announced. We were dogging Clutch about it 2 weeks ago too, and he was like, "Well, I can't really tell you what we hit yet."
We wanted to make a poster of it first.
Yes, there is a poster. You can head on over to MLG and check it out. But they are a record-breaking online viewership and audience numbers for the 2011 Pro Circuit. They had 241,000 online viewers for the Pro Circuit competition, and that was the peak. Like it was all at the same time. They've got the numbers of hours of video consumed over the Pro Circuit weekend. They had 3.6 million. It was the highest on a Pro Circuit weekend. For Providence. They had 15 million throughout the entire season. They actually had higher ratings for males between the age of 18 and 24 than MTV, FX, Comedy Central, and TBS, and they tied with Adult Swim. I did not know Adult Swim catered to our age bracket so much, and it makes me sad that next month I'm going to age out of that age bracket. I feel cool.
Well, the age bracket will change then. Like, it's more of our generation than anything.
Like, ding, Garrett hit 25. Okay, 18 to 25 is the new market.
You're like flipping the channel, like, wait, I used to be able to get Cartoon Network.
The average tune-in... Oh, sorry, continue.
I was going to say, like, you got The Price is Right, where you've got this age bracket of, college, and then there's this huge gap, and then all of a sudden you hit your 70s, and then you're back in it. So there's this place where you can't watch it, and then there's these two spots.
I watched the hell out of The Price is Right when I was a little.
It's amazing, yeah, right.
It was always what I would do when I was homesick in elementary school. I love The Price is Right, but Bob Barker, the new one with Drew Carey, it's a lie. It is a sham.
Bob Barker finally ducked out.
He ducked out like 2 years ago, dude.
Oh well, I mean, I
Did
haven't watched it.
Die?
No, he's not dead.
He quit.
Oh, okay.
He's got to stop those animals.
Yeah, when I heard ducked out, I was just.
He had a lot of animals to neuter and spay.
Yeah.
Anyways, the average...
And the Family Feud. I'd always watch that as well.
The average...
The guy from Tool Time.
Kyle!
One more interrupt and I'll be done.
The guy from what?
Tool Time. Al?
Wilson?
Yeah.
Did I tell you about this? Okay, tangent off tool time.
Sure.
I was
I give up.
there was a picture for Halloween. This has been forever, so we haven't talked. Best Halloween costume I saw. There was this guy who was dressed like Wilson, and he had a mini little like picket fence on a thing that he just held right here, and that was his costume.
That's awesome.
I know, isn't that the coolest costume ever? On subject.
Okay. The average tune-in time per visitor was 3 hours. It was the 175 was the highest number of countries that tuned in. This was again during Providence. Oh God, they had a 225% growth over the year. Like if they show their 2010 and then they show 2011, and it is just rocketing past it. And then they've got the number of in-person spectators at the Pro Circuit competition. They had 20,000 was the highest number of spectators in, they are watching it. And that was at Anaheim, and they had 97,000 total for the 2011 season.
In brief, MLG was huge.
Yeah,
and there was actually a tweet that went out this past week where Sundance was like, just got off the plane talking with country and something in Europe. I don't remember the tweet exactly, but it kind of made me think, it's making me think that MLG is going to be going global, not just the United States.
You got that thought too from that?
Yeah.
Oh man, I totally wasn't going down that thought process.
No, what were you thinking?
Tweet.
No, I was thinking exactly. That's exactly what he was.
Kyle, you do not understand sarcasm, sir.
I know. Well, it's because I'm a very gullible man.
Yeah,
I want to believe.
Again, it comes back to you enjoyed the village. You apparently don't have a brain. You are so good at StarCraft for having a dead brain, Kyle.
He's got to go to see the wizard, man. New brain.
All right, well,
Wizard of Oz. It's like they need things like there's courage,
Well, really, tell me more about this.
It would take at least 2 hours to tell that whole story.
Well, there was
maybe I do need a brain.
There was a little finals this past weekend. Something no one probably even heard about. The NASL Season 2 Grand Finals were this past weekend, and I wish I went. Partially because it looked like they needed the people to fill the seats, but also mostly because I just wanted to be there.
And they had the sweet red carpet.
Oh my goodness, yes. Did you see? Did you look
I
at
saw
all,
your
or no?
picture. I saw the picture you posted of Idra walking down, completely avoiding giving anyone high fives, which I completely agree with the picture because he's afraid of being duped.
Because Artosis, several months ago, did not give him a high five, so now Idra wants to stay away from any possible rejection. Also, Thorzine, when he was asked on, he actually sprinted one time. I don't remember who he was playing against, but he literally beelined it to the booth.
I think that was before his match with Puma, but I'm not positive.
Okay, but yeah, it was a cool little addition. I wish there were actually people there for that to be cool. But
the finals had started to fill up, but there was some space available.
I felt really bad for this. Just on the stream, it just did not feel epic. It felt like 30 people showed up. I heard in an interview afterwards that turns out the space was just twice as big as last year's, and they actually had decent showing, if not more than last year, but there was just more space to spread.
Yeah, exactly. So, they had it at the same convention center, but they rented out twice the space.
See, MLG knows what they're doing. They actually have enough chairs, but they burn them. So that way everybody's nice and packed, and then
the truck gets there with the chairs, and Sundance just looks at this. No, too many. Burn them.
Supply and demand.
Look at its viewership, man. Adult Swim, just saying.
It's trying to put those numbers.
The fire is what powers the projectors.
Less chairs next year, I say. Less chairs.
Less chairs. More epic. Anyway, so yeah, the red carpet was pretty cool. They had intro songs. It made me think it was like wrestling. Like they were going to come out and the Rock was just going to be like, yeah, I'm here to play Terran.
I was geeking out because every single time Idra went up there, which was not often because he lost quick, was dubstep. And I liked that. It actually...
If you ever watched his stream, it is nothing but dubstep. I don't personally care for dubstep, so Idra's stream is my favorite one to watch, but I cannot have the audio on. I don't like dubstep. I'm sorry.
Well, either way, there's a severe lack of pyrotechnics and small undergarments.
Do you smell what Thorzine is cooking?
Yeah. Well, on the back to the Idra, to finish that up, the one song that they played for Idra for the dubstep was "Kill Everybody." Have you ever heard that song?
No.
It's just this little kid singing, "I want to kill everybody in the world," and Idra's just walking stone-faced down the center. Oh,
I gotta look that up.
It literally looks like he has had and was going to murder people. So it was just perfect from my point of view.
Yeah.
And someone had the Pokemon theme too, just to bring that up.
Oh, bad. It wasn't Herman Cain?
No, I don't remember who it was, but
bringing up politics on the show. So let's talk about the finals. Let's talk about Puma versus Hero, because that was kind of awesome.
Kind of,
yeah. No, it was like a GSL final. Well, I can't say that anymore. The GSL had good finals. But this was awesome. This was really badass. Puma, of course, is the returning champion. He won the NASL Grand Finals from Season 1. So he was defending the crown. They should have like a belt or something. All I can think of is wrestling freaking references because of their entrances. But yeah, what you guys both saw the finals, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I was at Barcraft for the NASL finals.
Oh yeah, Kyle, you didn't have a choice.
I didn't have a choice. I went. It was awesome.
I know. But they didn't have one in Tampa. I was very disappointed. And or if they did, it was not advertised on their Facebook page. Now,
I don't want to give any away. I'm going to give away some trade secrets or whatever you want to call it. But there was an awesome idea at the Barcraft I went to where the second you walk in, there displayed proudly was a 2-win headset and a really high-quality gaming headset. And what you had to do to win it was guess who was going to win, what was the score going to be for both the semifinals and the finals, and then what the time of the final match would be. And the guy who won it got all those correct, including was only 25 seconds off the final time for the final match.
That's creepy. Someone give that man a casting job.
Yeah,
or steal his DeLorean. Holy crap!
Or just, literally, this guy was like, "Wait, no, really? Oh, I just put whatever on there. Oh, okay, cool," and like went and collected his headset and left.
Well, that's cool.
That's nuts. Mork, your DeLorean comment just makes me think of Doc showing up and be like, "No, Hero, it's your kids. Something's got to be done about your kids." Hero, it's the NASL Finals. Something has to be done about your Stalker micro.
All of a sudden, there's just 2 lines of fire on the red carpet. And, there's the DeLorean right there. He starts giving high fives because he's not Idra, and then goes up on stage and talks to him. Yeah, I could see it.
So, anyways, Game 1 took place on dual site. There was some awesome stuff going on all these games. Some of the things that really stood out to me in this one, a Puma freaking sniped the Zealot legs as they were researching in Hero's main.
Oh, it was like
so big.
10 seconds to go or something ridiculous.
I was so stoked. There's a more intense sniping in the final match of the finals that I can't wait to get to. It has something to do with the starport. But this is just great. This made me so happy. And this showcased something we'll see throughout the whole series, but Puma's EMP, he's like, oh, it got nerfed, but not enough.
Yeah.
Laying him down and doing work. Puma, of course, took the first match. But, dear God. Oh, the Zealot legs. I was like, ooh, I was dancing in my bedroom alone.
Well, and you are a big Puma fan.
What was that?
You're a big Puma fan.
I love.
Yeah, let's get that out right now. Who was rooting for who?
Puma.
I was going for Hero again because I just watched DreamHack and I really like the way he played his Protoss.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Hero as well. So,
well, you guys just also hate Terran, so.
Yeah, on my side,
because I was rooting for Puma in everything else because I like Puma. I like EG, period. But Liquid Hero has just had this place in my heart because I've seen amazingly good Protoss from him, and yeah, my heart was with him.
I by no means dislike Hero. It's not like the old days where I'm just like, MC must lose everything. No, I love Hero. I really like Puma. He's one of my favorite players.
It's okay to have favorites. You don't have to be ashamed.
I'm not ashamed. It's just most of my favorites are Terran. I want to see Marine King win something big. That's what I'm waiting for. I love Marine King. Anyways, game 2 took place on Antigua Shipyard. There was some nice frickin' scouting. Something I'm not usually impressed by in games, but there was just some awesome scouting in this game by Hero. I mean, his initial scouting probe lived way too long. Like, it was inside Puma's main.
Well, and again, you have to pass. I mean, sure, the players are doing it, and they're doing amazing job scouting. But another reason that's so exciting is because we had really good casters for this final. I know it was Day 9, and I'm forgetting the other guy.
DJ Wheat.
Yes, DJ Wheat. And DJ Wheat has come quite far in being entertaining.
You're saying it incorrectly, Kyle. It's DJ Wheat.
Oh, no, let's not go down that road, sir.
Yeah, no, they were fantastic. I always get excited when Day 9 is going to be the caster, well, because it's Day 9. But he works really well with DJ Wheat. I've gotten so used to him at Husky from MLGs.
Yeah.
But I look forward to hopefully seeing more of him paired with DJ Wheat.
Yeah, but I was a little disappointed that Greytorp and Orb didn't cast the finals. I feel that they're, really energetic and stuff.
And they've been there for the whole damn season, so I do feel like they got shafted a bit.
I'm just going to keep my mouth shut in case it's a sarcasm.
I like Greytorp.
He's very...
That about sums it up.
Okay. But also, dude, what about the scouting from Hero with that zealot? That
Hero zealot.
Hero zealot just gallivanting all the way around the map and just waltzing right into Puma's main. Just insane. Also, I mean, Hero spotted Puma's proxy starport. I mean, and this was huge. This was like Puma sniping the Zealot legs in game 1. It was just, it was ridiculous. And then he lifts off and he tries to get away. But then he tries to get away and the stalkers head it off at the pass and just, they set it on fire. It's back in the corner and it's just useless for the rest of the game.
Yep, it's like, well, and then he tries to bring it in for a bit, but no, if he's keeping an eye on it, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. And Dana was just crying like, oh, the poor starport. But and then like it was like Hero was out for blood after having his Zealot leg sniped, because then he went in and sniped Combat Shield while it was upgrading. And he blinked in the Puma's main, and then right after he sniped Combat Shield, he's just like, I'm gonna blink in twice the amount of stalkers that I didn't even see coming and take the game.
Yeah.
It's just so many stalkers.
Clearly it was planned ahead of time. I mean, he went with the Robo, got the Observer straight over there. It didn't fart around looking for any expansions or anything. It was there. The Stalkers went, and he won the game with it.
Yeah, some very, very nice play by Hero in that game. Mork, anything?
No.
Oh, nothing. Look at my awesome hat and tuxedo. Game 3 took place on Shadow Temple, and the volume of the crowd was quite loud for this whole the whole finals. Right in the beginning, there's this very loud 1, 2, 3 Puma fighting, and it was like totally drowning out DJ Wheat's like introduction.
And I read so many Twitters that were like, "Yes, we have cheering. Are we a sport now?" Apparently, they got a wave going as well.
Oh, whoop-de-damn-do. Again, great scouting by Puma this time around. He snuck an SCV into Hero's main while Hero attacked Puma's main. He even managed to get the SCV out alive and hit it behind some tall grass for later scouting. And then probably the most impressive thing of this whole match was when Puma, he sniped Hero's Observer just as his ghost came out. I mean, just amazing timing. He stopped dropping mules to save up just enough energy for one scan at the perfect time. Hero was
holding them back, and then Hero was at his doorstep the entire time, and everyone's just waiting. What is he going to do with these 3 ghosts? And he's inching them forward. Hero's army would inch forward as well. He'd pull them back behind the army. It was such a goading. Yeah,
and then just more and more boss EMPs from Puma, which ended up, winning him the game. So Game 4 took place on Crevasse. Early scouting by Puma, he just missed Hero's expansion. Like, he was like 1 pixel of Fog of War away from seeing this damn thing. And then, to return the favor, Hero's scouting probe just missed Puma's proxy starport. He went for yet another proxy starport this match. Hero didn't rally his first observer, but apparently he just had foresight because...
Yeah, this was so strange.
This was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. The observer pops out. It wasn't rallied anywhere, which usually would be a blunder. But so it's just chilling in his main, and then the Cloak Banshee shows up. And it's just like, oh, well, I have my observer conveniently here.
Good thing I'm here.
And I think there might have been a DeLorean, Mork.
or just cheats. It was actually Deezer. Yeah, he had a little picture-in-picture of the other screen.
Puma eventually just did a monster push with SCVs and just started this scary-ass wall-off inside of Hero's main. And he's got tons of tanks. He's got tons of bunkers. But Hero did a hell of a nice counter. He warped in DTs, which just pretty much forced Puma to go all in. And then there was just this ridiculous battle in the front of Hero's main. They were charge lots. They just charged in. They did a massive amount of damage to Puma's bio, but Puma still came out on top despite heavy losses. And then we saw an awesome stalemate.
Yes, as Hero managed to get pretty much every single probe out of his base somehow magically off to some other hidden base where I remember Mork typing on Twitter being like, "Oh, build cannons. Please build cannons," but there were none that he had.
Yeah, that bugged me. I think he GG'd early, to be honest. Like, he led the Banshees away from his base, and all he had to do was build one probe. He had like 400 minerals, build one probe, and then build one cannon in the mineral line. And then he'd be safe. He'd have to micro a lot, but he'd be safe. I think the reason he left the game is he did not... Well, Puma was not being revealed, so he must have assumed that there was a base somewhere, an operational base, and he wasn't able to scout that out because he just was losing to 2 Banshees and a Raven, and just left. But I think he had a chance.
Agreed.
It was no Idra, though.
Well, and it was a marathon of a game. I mean, he was probably exhausted, ready for the next one. Who can blame him?
He was shaking his head pretty hard.
Yeah. Game 5 took place on Terminus RE. I still am always in awe of the size of this damn map.
Yeah.
Because I never play on it. But Hero reacted really well to Puma's early bio aggression. I mean, he dropped the 3 extra gates and he just was like, no, guess what? The map is mine, and now you're economically screwed. Also, something interesting, we got to see Puma's EMP micro just fail miserably in this game. I don't think he could have whiffed harder than he did in this match.
Didn't he fire on nothing at one point?
Yeah, more. It was like, I don't even know what happened. It was like,
but I mean, there was a lot going on at that time. I mean, he was trying to do drops in the back at the same time. Meanwhile, Hero just had something that no one ever wants to do, leave High Templars by themselves. And he was leaving them around like they were stalkers, just sitting there waiting for medevacs to come by. It was genius.
And he caught one, and it was awesome. It dropped 2 Marines, and then boom, just exploded.
Yep.
And the Marines didn't last long because he had his stalkers hanging out in the back of his base waiting for drops. So that was nice. And, I mean, Hero just won this game. He just outplayed the hell out of Puma in this game. It was beautiful. But unfortunately, it was not enough because in Game 6 on Belshire Beach, Hero attempted a proxy Stargate, but the pylon powering it was destroyed literally
it was sad.
Millimeter away from the void ray popping out.
Yeah, and it was chrono boosted and everything. I mean, this could have been really dangerous. In Belshire Beach, where he hid that, was it in the gold? I'm not sure, but it's in one of those bases where you are basically, if it wasn't for some trees, you could jump right up into the main.
Yeah, I mean, he would have been able to warp in the main once Warp Gate finished.
Yeah. Would have been quite disgusting, but instead, oh my god, it was so close. It was almost out. God. Puma played awesome. He got pinned by force fields at one point in Hero's mineral line, and he just decides, oh, well, I'm going to pick up and drop behind the force field.
Oh, my goodness. And then he used the force fields.
It was beautiful. It was genius. I was just like, wow, why have I never done that?
For Hero's sake, he managed to still get up pretty much a maxed army. He was a little short on upgrades in comparison to, Puma, who had the whole map to himself. Yeah. But these two giant death balls danced around each other for a good 20 minutes.
Like, oh, wait, no. Oh.
They're going to engage the... No, never mind.
Yeah.
And that goes to show how high level they are when it comes to engagements, because they need that perfect engagement in order to go in, and they're wise enough. Both of them are wise enough to not just a move.
Right.
But that being said, that's a higher part of the pyramid, and there's like dusting and stuff like you wouldn't understand. So just
a little too advanced for discussion
later on.
Yeah. But no, I completely agree. Obviously, Puma ended up winning. Put eloquently, he killed the hell out of the Colossus with those Vikings. It was just like, bye-bye. And that sealed the victory. Once those Colossus were out of the picture, he just walked in and just stomped them. So this, of course, makes Puma a 2-time NASL champion in a row. Freaking row. So
not only that, but the only 2 there has ever been.
Yeah, and I think the first time the guy was rooting for... Well, no, because I was totally rooting for Leenock and MLG.
And Huck the time before that, too.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, I'll give you that. So, but I'm very happy for Puma. I'm a big fan. I'm glad to see him win. So,
now my big question is, what team is going to steal him from EG now? Because every single time he wins a NASL, someone...
Yes, all the one time it's happened in the past.
One time it's happened, yes.
That's a pattern, okay?
And well, actually, it's a little late now, isn't it? Because that was like he walked off the stage and they're like, hey, you, come on our team. Okay. Right over there.
No, I like to think he'd stepped out back for a drink or something and they just hit him over the head, threw him in a van, in the EG
burlap bag and some chloroform. Yeah, man.
Put the eye holder opens and like showed him videos of TeamLiquid for a while.
That's why he always stands like this, like he's so shy because he's been so hurt. Yeah.
Dyed his hair pink at MLG, so if he was kidnapped, he'd be easy to spot.
Yeah.
Anyways, before we move on to emails, just wanted to bring up that the GSL will be having the Blizzard Cup coming up.
Which is important because there isn't much else going on for the next month.
No, we are in the downtime. But lucky for us, we've got guests on the next few shows.
Exactly. But this should be a very fun competition. It's laid out here in this nice little image that GOM TV continues to surprise us with. So it's not as complex as it looks. There's only going to be 10 players, all of which are invited. These are going to be your big names. I remember watching Tasteless Artosis try to name them all, but he couldn't get the last one. So I'm not going to succeed. But at any rate, there's Nesty, there's going to be Dong Regu in it, and all the big names just battling it out. And it's going to be in 2 groups, a Group A and a Group B, both which kind of flip-flop through each other in battle. Eventually, Group A winner battling Group B winner. So it should be very entertaining.
Sweet. I'm very excited to watch that. It'll give me something to watch over the... Sorry, what was the date again? I missed it.
It's going to start the 12th, I believe. That could be wrong. I'm doing that off memory, but I think it's the 12th.
Something to watch over the holidays. I'll put that on the side screen while I'm playing Star Wars The Old Republic.
It's an MMO. You don't have to worry about getting distracted because you just press the same 2 buttons. What?
Yeah, exactly. It's an MMO. But I still enjoy them, so shut up. Anyways, that does it for Ion Esports. Hope you all enjoyed it. Let's get into emails.
Incoming transmission.
Patching you through. The Yamato is loaded, and so am I.
All right, it is time for the most off-topic section of the show, emails. First up, we have Internet Dave, who is back with Achievement of the Week.
Hello, StarCast. This is Internet Dave bringing you the Achievement of the Week. I am now starting the campaign walkthroughs on the achievements, so be warned, there may be some spoilers if you have not beaten the campaign after a year. Anyway, we'll start with the first mission, Liberation Day. So as you all may know, there are 3 achievements to every campaign mission. This one contains the achievement Liberation Day, the one named after the mission where the goal is to complete every single objectives. The objectives in this mission include destroy the logistics headquarters, which is one of the main objectives, has to be done. Jim Raynor must survive, who, once again, must survive, otherwise you lose the mission. And the bonus objective, destroy all 6 Dominion holoboards. If you don't destroy all 6 holoboards in this mission, you won't get the achievement. Most of them are pretty wide open. There are 2 that are hidden, so just look around all the corners of the map. They're not too hidden, they're just kind of in the back corners, so don't try too hard, but it shouldn't be that hard to find them. The second achievement, Raynor's back. The goal here is to kill 5 enemy units using Jim Raynor in the mission. Now, when you first start the mission, the unit clumps are very small, and Jim Raynor is a badass. So, you can just use him to take them out at first, and then eventually bring in the rest of your Marines. There are certain Marines that are just like 1-on-1, and Jim Raynor can just go over and kill them. It's not that hard. This one can be done on normal difficulty. But then the final achievement is Down with Manx. This one must be done on hard difficulty or higher. Kill every enemy unit on the map. The only 2 enemy units that are hard are the 2 Vikings at the end of the mission. Plus the hidden Marines that are guarding the holoboards. So, if you want to get every achievement, make sure to take out the holoboards because there's Marines guarding them. Anyway, we'll keep this up. Tell me what you think of the campaign walkthroughs. This has been Internet Dave, and this has been the Achievement of the Week.
Thank you for Internet Dave for stepping on the toes of the campaign roundtable. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, it's Achievement of the Week, and Heart of the Swarm's taking a bit. So
there's achievements in them that are campaigns.
That there are, and Jim Raynor is a badass. The first time I got to fire that snipe, reminiscing a little bit, it was badass.
I want to go back and play through that mission again just to use the snipe and pray that at some point it gets put in the game.
Speaking of heroes, there was a big hullabaloo about the Warcraft 3 gaming finals or whatever happened this past week. That was pretty interesting to watch.
Like WCG, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. That's probably going on right now.
That is probably true. It's very interesting.
Yes,
a game that
is.
I was very, very into. And to see it now after playing StarCraft for a while, it looks slow.
Yes.
And the whole level up process of going out and destroying random ogres in the woods doesn't quite meet the excitement of early harass.
No, not at all. I can't stand watching Warcraft 3 personally, but hey, to each his own.
It was interesting to see, because I tuned in for a little bit before I got bored and did something actually worthwhile my time. But Moon was playing. He got in the booth, and I thought that they were about to do some StarCraft matches, but turns out Moon had gone back to Warcraft 3 because that's where he made all his money. Him, Grubby, and others. But yeah, so it was interesting to see like StarCraft, the people who moved over to StarCraft 2 come back to like the games that they're good at because of this tournament.
Yeah. King Octavius is back this week with Sci-Fi in my StarCraft.
Hey everybody, this is King Octavius with Science Fiction in my StarCraft. Today we turn our heads to the achievement section of the game. Now, there are a lot of achievements with names derived from movie titles in this game. My Precious, Army of Darkness, You Shall Not Pass, Cool Hand Tosh, The Great Train Robbery, to name a few. But there are only a couple based specifically on science fiction movies. One of these achievements is 28 Minutes Later, based, of course, off the zombie movie 28 Days Later and its sequel 28 Weeks Later. Even though these films use the contemporary fast zombie type, they're both pretty great. The 28 Minutes Later achievement is attached to the Outbreak mission. This is the mission where you go to the planet Meinhof, which apparently has a German name for whatever reason, to eliminate a Zerg virus infestation. During the day you send your units around to destroy infested civilian structures, and during the night you attempt to keep hordes of what are basically infested Terrans from invading your base camp. In order to get the 28 Minutes Later achievement, you simply have to beat the mission on normal before the 5th night. Of course, the infested civilians attacking you are very much like zombies, hence, that is why the developers riffed off a zombie film title for the title of the achievement. I'm King Octavius, this has been SF in my SC, and go Puma!
Well, awesome, King Octavius. I'm assuming he recorded that before the NASL finals, and I'm sure he's very happy.
And now they're going to be fighting, him and Internet Dave, over who gets to do achievement campaigns, and this is just going to get dirty.
As long as we get an Achilles-style war going between the two of them.
Absolutely.
I want that segment back. I miss it.
And actually, now that I think about it, that means Internet Dave won, didn't he? Because he stayed around.
I guess so.
Can we declare him the winner right now?
I'm fine with declaring him the winner of the segment.
But Achilles is now like managing CVO and writing for EG, so
Well, Achilles wins in real life, but Dave wins the internet.
Yeah,
All right.
let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Well, now his title makes sense. He is the Internet Dave. Anyways,
Fast Zombies. I think it's cheating.
well, I'm going to put on my news voice because now to Hipster with the Community Action News.
Hello, StarCast listeners, and welcome to the StarCast Community Action News. This week in the forums, the topic of using gaming mice was brought up. The random memes and pics thread and the music sharing thread continue to thrive in activity. The thread on Reddit discussed some of the StarCasters' alternate interest in the web. In League of Legends, everyone's excited for this week's free champion, Sway. Gilligan hosted an immensely successful barcraft in St. Louis and was featured in a local newspaper. If you live in the St. Louis area, be sure to check out the group on Facebook. Discorax also represented the StarCast in his local barcraft. Keep making us proud, boys. EGPuMa won the NASL Season 2, maintaining the throne here in his victory against NC in Season 1. Congratulations to him, Hero, Thorsane, and Sen for making it to the top 4, and bringing us fantastic games. Diamond and Masters players, remember to send your applications for the CVO tryouts and earn your shot to compete for being a representative on StarCast in competitive play. Now for Buddha with the weather.
This week in StarCraft, Mouse Thorzane goes to Disneyland and has absolutely no fun at all. Back to you, Hipster.
Thanks, Buddha. Gary and Kyle, back to you.
Thank you, Hipster and Buddha. It's always fantastic to hear from you guys. My favorite part of Hipster's segment is listening to him almost lose the ridiculous voice because he can't hold it for some of the run-on sentences.
That segment actually gives me kind of a bad mood because I was asked to do the weather, but he asked me right after I had lost 8 games out of 10 on the ladder, and I was not in the mood for fun. So it was a rainy day for me.
That's the perfect time to have fun, though. Like, get your mind off of your terrible losing streak.
This is true, but yeah, so that is why I was not on the weather.
Yeah.
Maybe next week. All the same, a wonderful segment. Always look forward to that.
Yeah. We got a call from someone who just calls himself the programmer, and they wanted to insult me.
This is the programmer. I have a mental image of Garrett as an average-looking man of an average-looking build. A mental image of Kyle as a little bit overweight with an average-looking face. Well, I went on to your stream, and to my horror, I gazed upon the face of Garrett, who's actually quite ugly. And then I looked at Kyle, and I'm like, wow, he's actually quite attractive. So I beckoned my wife over and said, come over here, look at these guys. What do you think? She goes, oh, that one's cute and sexy, pointing at Kyle. And I said, what about this other one? I don't know, maybe it's his hair. Something about him's off. She goes, yeah, it's his face. That's all. Oh, and one more thing. My favorite part of the show is when Kyle makes a great joke or something funny, and Garrett kind of like laughs a little, doesn't know how to continue it on, and just goes moving on. Awkward silences for the win. Arrivederci, ciao.
Well, moving on.
God forbid I want to keep the show going. It's hard to you know, it's a hard. My job is hard, people. I have to deal with these two jackasses who are significantly uglier than me.
But Garrett, really, I think this is an issue that we need to discuss.
What?
Like, you know, this is a quality call, and I really think we should give some breath to this subject about why. I mean, well, first off, he's giving you a compliment because your voice is so beautiful compared to who you are. And, I mean, I would look at it that way. And then as for Kyle, your looks, are your voice can't even keep up. And saying that to a person who has, like, your job is literally your voice, I mean, you must think you're attractive, you know?
What the hell was that?
That was a GG, apparently.
Oh.
No
But,
idea.
Well,
I show up for job auditions, and they're like, look, if this was a magazine cover, you got it. But frankly, this is a voiceover, so get the hell out.
I'm terrified to see what he sends in next week because this is my first time on the show.
Well, to you, the programmer, all I have to say is this. I don't care what I look like because my girlfriend is way hotter than your wife could ever possibly be.
Oh, snap.
Anyways,
Also, did you see
moving
this
on.
No, not moving on yet. Did you see this wonderful forum that started of people trying to guess what we looked like? And
Yes,
one of the first
yes,
picture
I
posted
did.
was from Weird Science.
Yes, and that made me so happy.
And I think I'm the one with the bra on my head.
Yes, yes, you were.
And Mork, you're the Barbie doll we're trying to revive.
Yep. Yes.
He is a hot man. Moving
Everybody in the chat thinks I sent in that call. By the way, I did not. You would know if I sent in the call.
Yeah, he would have made it blatantly obvious. When I met Garrett at Disneyland, I ran for my life, for I thought he was going to molest me. And it was Disney.
And we had no fun.
No fun.
Thorzane was in the background photobombing and stuff.
I wish Thorzane was in the background.
Dude, Hotbid has some wonderful photo bombs.
He is a pro. Like, literally, I think he gets a paycheck for that. I'm not even
He
kidding.
must.
Yeah.
Photosynthesis.
He gets a W-2 and everything. Like, he has to report that. That's how pro he is.
Yeah.
Our final call-in for emails is from SDS Tash, and he actually called in from the NASL.
Hello, StarCast. This is SDS Tash, and I'm coming to you live from the NASL Season 2 Finals in Ontario, California. It's a beautiful, sunny Californian day, and it has been absolutely amazing. The venue is incredible. The red carpet walkouts are epic, and I cannot wait to see what the outcome of Liquid Hero versus EGPuMa is. I'm going to try to get as many recordings as I can. Already got one from Mr. Bitter that I'll be sending in. But if you haven't had the opportunity to watch this, then go watch the VODs. Thorzane versus Puma was incredible. Show. Bye.
Funny thing about that call, he actually did that in the middle of the NASL, and there's like no background noise because no one was there.
Yeah, that. Oh, Baron. We actually, Kyle, you and I, we got to meet SDS Tash during the meetup before BlizzCon.
Yes, we did.
He didn't go to BlizzCon, but he came to the meetup in downtown Disney the night before. He was an awesome dude.
Yeah, he was. And a smart man at that.
Yes, he was. Very sweet girlfriend as well.
Indeed.
Who was sick, and she still came out. Yes.
That's awesome that
Third
the
point.
energy translated well. I mean, sure, from our viewer, as we've said with our viewer reactions, it seemed like the room was kind of empty, but I'm glad it was awesome in person.
Yeah, I really want to go. I really lament not living in California anymore because I would have so went.
And we are getting so many wonderful sound bites of people getting players to say, you know, this is who they are and this is StarCast. But I'm starting to worry that you and I, Garrett, are going to go to one of these events live again and we're going to approach someone and be like, hey, could you give an interview for StarCast? And they'll be like, well, I already gave you guys one. Like yesterday. Wait, who's that? And like, there's just all these Starcasters out getting interviews, and we're all being denied because someone got them yesterday.
Yeah. And we, while we're on that subject, some of you have written in and asked, hey, is it cool if we represent you at the next tournament? Can we go around and ask for interviews? Please let us know first before you do that. We don't want, like, no offense to the young listeners. We know we have a lot of listeners, young listeners. We just don't want 15-year-olds running around saying you're representing our show. Because, we want to talk with you on Skype, meet you first before we allow you to run out and be like, hi, I represent StarCast, so that our show doesn't go up in flames and we can't get any more guests.
But let's just take another moment to say how awesome, because we didn't talk about it after last show because we played them at the end, but Pat and Dan's interviews were awesome. Those guys were so chill with the pro players and got us so many great drops for the show. Those were great to hear.
Yes, and Shadow Wisp, I do not hate 15-year-olds, and the chat room is yelling, Garrett hates 15-year-olds.
That's because he's a molester at Disney World.
I don't hate them. They're just not people. But yes, back to Pat and Dan.
Like Psych, yeah. It's bringing that
oh
back.
my God. I didn't have a chance to listen to Pat and Dan's interview before we played it last week because it was an absolutely insane week. But I did listen to it the next day at work, and I teared up with the medley of people. This is saying this is so and so, and you're listening to StarCast. I was so excited. So big props to Pat and Dan. If you did not listen to episode 80, first of all, what the hell are you doing? LZ Gamer was on the episode, but also you missed out on an awesome medley of interviews live from from Pat and Dan from MLG Providence, and they just did a fantastic job. So yeah, just great job, guys. We have a few emails. We know it's called emails when we play nothing but calls, but we actually do have emails. Dr. Game & Watch wrote in and said, "Hey guys, I'm really interested into Blizzard Dota." That makes no sense. And also Diablo 3. What do you know about Blizzard Dota? What is Dota? I've never played. Same with Diablo. What is Diablo? The only reason I'm interested is because they are from Blizz, and StarCraft is good, and WoW is okay. Well, I really like WoW. But we got a similar email from Jamal Rayner, who wanted to know, is Blizzard Dota free? And then he also asked, how do I beat Mork? I'm a Bronze Protoss. You don't. That's the answer to that question, if you're a Bronze Protoss. But back to Dota. Kyle, you're the resident Dota nut, so I'm going to give the floor to you.
Dota is Defense of the Ancients. Basically, you have two teams that are competing to destroy one another's bases. There are a number of towers and defenses that are stopping you from doing this, as well as the other team having to divide themselves to take up these lanes, as Mork types in the chat.
Oh, I didn't mute my mic this time.
No, that's all good.
I was doing so good.
No, it's okay. Let me get this for the record. Awesome. Moving on. So Blizzard Dota is going to be exactly that. Actually, there was a big debacle that happened a while back where Valve bought the rights to Dota as it was in Warcraft 3, and I have the beta key to it, and it is awesome. Dota 2 has all the classic heroes. It's getting some of the newer ones. I still really want to teach Garrett how to play because he has a beta key as well, but I'm sure he's afraid to play because it is an intense world.
Yeah, it's Dota. I will definitely be playing. I get a whole week off, Kyle, for Christmas.
Yeah.
So he's going to teach me, and we're going to stream it on the StarCast channel. Also, everyone, make sure you keep an eye on our channel during the week after Christmas, because Kyle and I will also be doing a stream of the Diablo 3 beta, because we're both in it. So we're going to group up, and we're going to play through the whole beta, because you can play through it in about an hour. We haven't set a date yet, but just keep an eye on the stream.
And Dota, as to if it's going to be free, according to what we heard at BlizzCon, it will be free, and it will come with the Starter Edition. So it is free.
Yes, super free. It could not be freer.
No. Your friends that do not want to play StarCraft could, in fact, play Dota with you. And Blizzard is making Dota much more simple in their version. They're getting rid of boots, which are a very important part of Dota. It allows you to move faster, catch up with other heroes that may be slower.
Yes, but in true Blizzard fashion, they're making them more awesome and turning them into mounts.
Well, and they're just simplifying everything. And things like foresting, which if you don't play Dota, it's basically where you're allowing someone else to take a lane, which means the heroes have a sort of range of XP they gain. So fights happening on the other side of the map, don't let that hero level up. But if you let a hero lane by himself and you're out in the forest just killing random ogres, you're going to both level up at an increased rate. Well, but that doesn't help the team at all. You're just some dude farting around in the forest.
Yeah,
with Blizzard Dota,
XP.
You kill those ogres. Now you have like a token that you can drop and let those ogres spawn in a lane for you, making the matches both quicker and more team-centric. Also, they're getting rid of any sort of hero kill points, which is a very important part of the Dota game because it divides into a number of series. I won't get too much into Dota Cast here, but it is divided into a horrible set of like supporters, healers, casters, and then what's known as carries, which means you have the cool hero, you get to kill everyone, and you're the one that wins the game. I'm putting Mork to sleep here, but that's going away in Dota, so everyone gets to be cool. In Dota Blizzard, that is. I'll be done here. I'm a big Dota nerd. I love Dota.
Yeah. Diablo 3, on the other hand, a little harder to describe. It's a dungeon crawler. It's class-based, much like WoW. Move-based, much like WoW. Loot-based, much like WoW. But it's much more of a single-player experience. You can find awesome loot off of killing a rat because it's not an MMO. And they're going to have an auction house where you can buy crap for real money, which interests me a lot.
It's story-based. It's like Gauntlet Legends or any sort of dungeon crawl you've played.
Yeah. If you've played Torchlight, which if you have it, you should go pick it up on Steam. It's cheap as hell and fun as hell. It's pretty much like Torchlight, but with a Blizzard flair.
Yeah.
So hopefully that answers your questions. And pick them up. Who cares? They're Blizzard products. They're going to be awesome. Showing my love for Blizzard. Kieran Bloomer writes in, he says, I just thought of the answer to your back catalog problem, the one where only the most recent episodes show up on iTunes. Well, here's a solution to it. StarCast seasons. Here's what I mean. Since you can only have a small number of episodes at a time, just re-upload as many of the first episodes as you can, then make that StarCast Season 1. Then repeat for all your episodes up until you get to the present episode and work with that. This is, however, just an idea from someone who knows almost nothing about making a podcast, so just inform us on the latest episode, please. Well, I don't think that would work, because to do that, we'd have to have multiple different feeds, which means all the seasons that weren't on the main mother season would no longer have our reviews, would no longer have our ranking. If we're going to do a season, that means we would have to take a break, and we don't really want to take a break.
Yeah, it's not preferable, though, because this kind of leaves us with a big back catalog list that you pretty much have to click through and download and then drag into iTunes. And so it's not
got like 5 StarCasts on your podcast page, and that just looks dumb.
Yeah, it's not a preferable system. It's the way iTunes works. Because it's a news show, like for Biggest Fan, which is more of a topical show, I put out a huge downloadable file where you can download all the back catalog. But since StarCast is kind of a news show, we haven't done anything like that because it continues to progress and update. And I'm absolutely flattered if you want to go catch up on episode 15 through 50. But there's nothing new going on in there.
You can, however, go to thestarcast.com and click on the episodes tab up at the top, or just go to thestarcast.com/episodes, and you will find every single episode we've ever done. So, there you go. And don't listen to episode 1. Never listen to episode 1. We only put it up there because so many people were asking about it.
It's a decent one. I mean, you guys talked
give
about
us a
StarCraft.
little credit.
I don't even think we knew what esports was back then.
The mics were on.
The mics were on. That was about it.
You know, something you mentioned esports. Something that you guys really improved on as a whole on the show is GSL was all that we talked about forever, and now it's GSL what? So that's been cool.
Yeah. I agree. And the reason we did that is we got so many emails. Hey, could you guys please cover other damn tournaments? So we do listen to your feedback. You don't have to write us just to send in something for strategies or emails or Ion Esports. You can write us if you just have suggestions, questions, comments. Tell us to go screw yourselves. We'll tell you to go screw yourself back, and we'll probably do it on air and make you feel like a jerk because we got microphones. But you can.
We've done that before.
We have.
Man, before we... What?
Sorry. I was going to say, the first 1-star review we've gotten in a year. I hope you enjoyed being sandwiched between like 10 new 5-star reviews. So enjoy the proverbial middle finger from the rest of our fans.
Maybe he just did that to keep us humble,
Yeah.
And then, just to make sure we're in check, or else we'd become too powerful and destroy the world.
Absolutely.
I don't like to feed the trolls, but all of his, like little tick marks, he broke it down. He's like, I don't like it for this reason, this reason, this reason. It's all the reasons we've said that the show is not about. The show is not about this. The show is not about this. It's about having been
It's about the things we've made a conscious effort for. That's the show he was looking for. Clearly the show wasn't for him, and I thought it was pretty amusing. Of course, we're talking about it now, like he's going to listen to it. And if you are listening, sir, why are you still listening?
Get a life.
Well,
stop obviously hate us.
You're filling yourself with so much bad energy, You need to let that go.
Buddha in the chat room says we got a 1-star because sometimes we have Mork on. That's mean, Buddha. Anyways, our final email of the week comes to us from I Am Diego, and he writes, I am sorry. While I will still maintain that Aliens is the obvious inspiration for StarCraft, I have misinformed you and led you astray by my poor choice of words. I forgot to include the subject, which is an open apology to Buddha. I Am Diego wrote in and said, Buddha, you need to watch Aliens. And he did. However, he continues, I know I originally wrote you should at least see the first 2 movies, or at the very least, the second one. I should have said you should only watch the first 2. While some can argue that some of the later movies had a cool, arty feel, they aren't StarCrafty, and I definitely did not intend for you to delve into the pit of sorrow that is Aliens vs. Predator. I know that hours of your life were ripped away and you could never get back, and for that, my humblest apologies 1,000 times. So I Am Diego apologizes to you, Buddha, for playing a part in you seeing the soul-sucking terrible films that is AVP.
And the slightly redeeming qualities of Requiem, but ultimately damning.
That was a terrible movie.
It had some decent things, like when he's exploring down there, and there's like the one that's like hissing at him. And then the girl chick who's like his love interest for the whole thing just gets owned in the last 5 minutes. It had some nice horror tropes to it. They tried, but sadly it is not the original video game, and certainly AVP2 video game was horrible.
Yeah, in the chat room, Magnus Wolf makes a very good point. StarCraft is also a total ripoff of Warhammer 40k. It is, but there are no orcs, and I am thankful for that.
Agreed.
Have you played Space Marine?
Dude,
third-person
I have not. That is like the guilty pleasure I am waiting to purchase the day it goes on sale on Steam.
Because I played the demo, and the orcs couldn't have stupider voice acting. They sound like British peons.
Dude, that was my first complaint. I'm like, why are you like, hey, Space Marine? I'm like, you're supposed to be
Space Marine over there. It's just like, what the crap?
Ogre up your voice a little bit, like, Space Marine. Like, get in there. Act, voice actors.
It was awful voice acting. I don't think I can play the game because of that. It took me so out of it.
But it was some good old-fashioned God of War fun. So I'll probably pick it up if it goes on sale.
So, well, that's an episode. Big thanks to all of you who left 5. What, more? Giving me the finger?
Something.
Not that finger.
Not this finger. Or, whatever. Something that's been bugging me for quite a while now is, have we done the Brady Bunch thing yet? Like, we're on stream right now, and I just want to be like, there's Kyle. There's Garrett. Yeah.
What's up, dude? Yeah.
I've been wanting to do that this whole time.
Okay. All right. I don't watch the stream while we're streaming because it just hogs more of my internet, so I can't see how we're laid out.
Oh, no, I waved the wrong way, Garrett. Hi, Garrett. Wave at me.
My video has been flipped for some odd reason. I'm not sure why. I'll have to ask Patrick about that. Like, if you read my shirt, I think it reads StarCast backwards. But anyways, thank you for the 5-star reviews. We got one. Alex Dude Guy, thank you very much from the US store. As always, if you want more StarCast, go to thestarcast.com to find links to everything StarCast. I want to say StarCast 5 more times. The official Twitter, Facebook, forums, and music, as well as donate to the show or sponsor an entire episode. We appreciate all the help from you guys. Check out our amazing community over at thestarcast.com/forum. And you can email the show at starcastshow@gmail.com or call the StarCast line at 941-882-0281. That's where we get all of our strategies and random emails, so send your strats, questions, comments, and MP3 attachments that are under 90 seconds to starcastshow@gmail.com. Download the StarCast Android app. Follow us on Twitter at the StarCast. You can follow me personally at Garrett Art. You can follow Kyle over at Kyle Ferguson. You can follow Mork at MorkSC. And check out Team CVO's YouTube channel at youtube.com/TeamCVO. Mork, when you're not on this wonderful show, where can people find you?
Where can people find me? I stream a lot on twitch.tv/MorkSC. I've been doing a little bit less lately, but higher quality, if that makes sense. I try to do commentary during my games if I'm not raging. Every so often you'll catch me in a bad mood. Every so often you'll catch me in a good mood. It's pretty random, but I think it's a decent quality, so you guys should check it out. I'm also part of Team CVO. There's a lot of transition points going on with that, so I'm not sure how much I really can drop right now on that, but you can check out that stream at twitch.tv/TeamCVO. That'll probably be active eventually again, but right now we're probably going through a dry season.
Eventually again.
Yes.
Wondrous. Kyle, what about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me over at Biggest Fan Podcast. This past week, we tackled Christmas music, which is pretty much our Christmas episode. A very fun episode, so check that one out. And coming up, we have, of course, the year-end review where we go through all the topics that we have covered this week, or this year, over the weeks. So check that out.
Also, how long have you guys been going on that? Like how many?
This Christmas or July, it'll be 2 years of Biggest Fan.
Aw, that's cute. So you can walk and everything. Yeah, that's good.
Yep. We're gonna. I don't know, teeth. I don't know about babies.
Teeth on Brocket.
At any rate, while I've got the spotlight here, I wanted to give a shout out to Octane Pro, who helps us out do this fabulous live stream.
Yes.
Awesome job to him. Not only is he helping us put up our videos here, but he's like pulling up the web pages we're talking about, posting the links, the link articles in the chat, making sure things stay nice and cool over there. Octane Pro, awesome guy.
Oh, there it is on the show. And
shout out your stream, man. Shout out your stream.
F all that, because, you know, all the cool stuff Octane Pro does for us, it's not nearly as cool as getting LC Gamer on the show. We have him to thank for that 100%. So, again, thank you. Thank you, Octane. Yeah, sweet. But we can announce that on next week's show, that'll be the 15th of December at 7 p.m. EST on twitch.tv/StarCast show, we will be interviewing Matt Look No Hands Fink. Matthew Fink is a quad amputee with a passion for StarCraft who is traveling the world on a Watson fellowship. His project is to train StarCraft in Europe and Korea and to connect with other disabled gamers in order to see how gaming and technology has changed their lives. So we look very forward to interviewing him. Make sure you tune in next week for.
If you haven't seen interviews with him, he is a truly inspirational man. Really looking forward to having him on the show.
Yeah. There's a thread on TeamLiquid. Awesome picture of him with a white raw. Everyone's favorite Protoss. And finally, don't forget to check out our awesome sponsors, Doghouse Systems, for the best gaming computers you'll find anywhere. They have been so insanely helpful to me this Christmas season. I getting gifts for everyone, getting tech gifts, and I'm a total noob when it comes to PCs. I have not bought a computer from them, but I rate them like, hey, I'm looking for this person. What would be the best thing to buy? And they always get back to me super quick. John and Keith and the guys over at Doghouse are just awesome. And they also have a podcast. So if you want to brush up on your PC knowledge, I listen to it. It's fantastic. You can check out the Doghouse Systems podcast on iTunes. Anyways, go to doghousesystems.com and you can use our codes, StarCast, Biscuit, when you make your purchase. You'll get a $25 Jinx card and support the show. So we thank you to them for that. So anyways, that does it for episode 81 of StarCast, the StarCraft podcast. Mork, thanks again for coming on. Kyle, thanks for existing. You're always here.
You're welcome.
And, I hope everyone had a great time. See you guys in a week's time. Next week, once again, we'll have Matt Fink on. Look No Hands. Make sure you tune in for that interview. See you in a week, guys. Good luck and have fun.
Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Oh my God, I haven't outroed a show in like a month. No.
Oh. Wait, they can still hear us right now, right? We're still on.
But they can't hear you still? Oh, okay.
So I probably just sounded like a crazy person.
We're like, that guy's awesome. We love them.
So did the recording turn out all right for when it goes out on stream? Or on...
Holy shit, I'm so excited. Are we still streaming?
Yes.
They're
all asking for questions.
There's some sort of echo vortex.
I don't know.
I'm opening up Photoshop because I actually had to quickly finish up a small thing of freelance. And, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it sounds like we're in a stadium.
Sounds like we're in a stadium. Awesome.
We're the best. As you can see on stream, Mork took first. He's on top. He wins. And it's really all that needs to be said.
We put you in the picture somewhere between Grandmasters and Bronze. I'm sitting somewhere between Silver and Diamond. And Garrett's got Silver and Gold.
Silver and Gold.
It's never been.
Buy the Masters one too, the Grandmasters Masters. Yeah.
Yeah, you got some Masters over there.
Well,
Okay.
guys, I'd love to stick around and chat, but I actually have to run a thumb drive over to a dude that I just finished freelance for. So
Sweet.
I got a ditch. I was actually supposed to leave about 15 minutes ago. But yeah, Mark, did you listen to me guesting on another podcast last week?
I did not. Which one?
The Instance, the Old Republic edition.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
no, I did not.
Even if you have no interest in playing the game, there were so many fantastic Star Wars quotes on that episode. You really should go listen to it.
Yeah.
Actually,
Sweet.
they're going live right now with episode 2. So.
So it's like it's not like a special edition. That's the only thing they're doing. It's an actual podcast that's going to.
They're starting it up, and they asked me to be on as their first guest. So it was
Bye,
awesome.
Disco Rax. He's got to leave.
See you, Disco.
Thank you for everyone who showed up. You guys
Love
are
you, man.
awesome.
Yeah.